Hi, this is Ryan with eGauge Systems, and today we're going to go over a basic configuration for a newly installed eGauge meter. To start off, we need to access our meter, and in order to do that, you'll need to have a computer, tablet, or a cell phone. From there, we'll open up a web browser, and in the search bar, we're going to type in our device name, .egauge.io. Now, if you're not sure what your device name is or your login information, it can be found on the sticker on the side of your eGauge, like in this example here. Now, I'll go ahead and enter in my login information and click Sign In. Now that we're logged in, the first thing we'll do is check and make sure the date and time is correct, since this is a newly installed meter. We'll go to the menu in the upper left, go down to Setup, and then Other Settings. Then we'll click Date and Time on the left-hand side. If your eGauge is connected to the internet, the date and time should be up to date. If it isn't, you can go ahead and manually update the time here and click Save. Now we'll go to the installation page here on the left-hand side. At the installation page, we're going to go ahead and skip over potential transformers. We won't be covering that in this video. So we'll move down to the sensor section, and we're going to start off with CTID. CTID is a proprietary technology by eGauge, so if you have eGauge branded CTs or sensors, you can connect them up to your meter and use this feature to automatically detect them. Let's go ahead and click on the CTID logo here. By default, all the ports of your meter will be selected. Since I only have the first four, I'll deselect them all and just select the first four ports, and I'll click Scan Check Sensors. This will go through and scan each port and detect what's connected to it. Great, now that that's done, we can click back to Settings. eGauge does support a variety of third-party CTs that'll need to be manually added. So from the drop-down list, it's listed by the manufacturer, then by the aperture size, and then last by the current rating. So if I wanted to configure CCS branded 20mm 200 amp CTs on port 5, I would scroll down and find CC ACT 20mm 200 amp and select it. Now that we have our sensors set up, we're next going to move on to configuring registers. We're going to go over a few examples of the most common register types. We'll start off with a power register. This calculates watts by applying current and voltage from the same phase. You can use this configuration for monitoring power consumption. To start off, we'll click Add Register, and we'll give it a descriptive name. In this case, I'll name it Grid. Next, from the register type, we're going to leave that as P for power. Then I'll click Add Component. You can use the drop-downs to pair a CT with a voltage input. In this case, we're using S1, which is a CT on port 1, and pairing it with L1, which is a voltage on the L1 AC input that S1 is monitoring. If this was a single-phase load, we'd be done, but since it's three-phase, we'll click Add Component twice more to include CT and voltage pairs for phases B and C. In our example configuration, we also have a CT installed on sensor port 5. We can set up an additional register called lighting to monitor this single pole load. And I'll select the port S5, and we'll say it is on phase 2. Next, we'll set up a sensor register. We'll click Add Register, and again give it a descriptive name. In this case, I'll call it Lamp. In the register type, we'll drop down and select S for sensor. Then next, I want to select the port that I want to monitor. In this case, we'll do S4. The register will automatically display readings in the appropriate unit based on the sensor assigned to that port. In this example, the port is configured as the CT, so the readings will appear in amps. If the port is assigned to, say, an eGauge CTID temperature sensor, the readings will appear in degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit on the chart. Next, we're going to set up a voltage register. We'll go ahead and click Add Register, and I'm just going to call this Voltage. In our register type selection, we'll drop down and select L. To record line to neutral voltage, we can choose L1, L2, or L3. For phase-to-phase voltage, just select any of the hyphenated options, like L1-L2. And if we want to record DC input, we'll select LDC. For our case, we'll select L1, L2 for a phase-to-phase voltage. Lastly, we're going to go over totals and virtual registers. This section is used for basic summing of energy data. The usage, generation, and battery registers are all predefined and correspond to shaded curves on the eGauge chart. While these registers cannot be deleted, they can be left empty if it's not relevant to your installation. In this example, we'll add the grid register to the usage register. We'll click Add Register, and grid is right there on the top, but as you can see, we could have selected any of the registers we configured earlier. Note that we're not going to add the lighting register. That's because it monitors a breaker that is already part of the main load measured by CTs 1 through 3. Adding lighting to the usage in this case would result in a double counting, one as part of the grid and again as a separate load. And that's it, we're all done. So we'll go ahead and click Save here at the bottom. After clicking Save, you'll get this message, would you like to start out fresh and disregard all data recorded up to this point? Since this is a new installation, we don't want to save any of the prior data. We'll go ahead and click OK. And great, settings are saved. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this video helpful and informative. For more detailed guides, troubleshooting tips, or additional support, please visit our knowledge base at kb.egauge.net. As always, our support team is here to help. Have a great day.